Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DC Live. We're thrilled to have you with us today for an exciting show filled with entertainment, information, and inspiration. But before we dive into the main event, we have a special treat for you. Our first commercial is about to roll, and it's something you won't want to miss. And don't forget, we've got some fantastic prizes to give away, so stay tuned for your chance to win big. We'll be also hosting a live Q&A session where you can interact with our hosts. Get those questions ready and don't miss this opportunity to engage with us. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be captivated by what's coming your way, because DC Live is about to kick off in style. Thank you for joining us, and let the excitement begin.
Hey guys, Dorothy and Marlis here, and we just want to pop in and give you a lot of information.
So let's talk about the different points of how we can assist each and every one of you.
First, we want to remind all of the existing stylists that if you refer a friend and they complete their certification, you get a $200 hair credit on your account. And no matter how many stylists you refer, you will continue to get $200 credit for each one. But that's not all.
I'll tell you, Dorothy, I actually took advantage of this a ton for years when I worked behind the chair, and it saved my butt a few times having that credit on my account. Because we know that life can get tough with family and bills, and sometimes having that credit that never expires at your fingertips really is just such a huge weight off of your shoulders.
So let's talk about the stylists that have taken one of the courses but not the other. So either I-tip and tape or K-tip and weft. Both Marlis and I firmly believe that being certified in all 4 methods is really a key to success, and let me give you an example why. Say that you are I-tip and tape certified, and a potential client calls. She currently has K-tips in her hair, but wants to switch to wefts. You try to talk to her about why she could choose I-tips. She says, no thank you. I've had all the methods and wefts are best for me. That's what I want. So now you have 2 choices. You can either let her know, I'm sorry, I don't do those methods, and you just lost a client because now she has to go find somebody else. Or 2, you can ask her to give you maybe a little bit of time to get certified and hope she'll wait. But no matter what, you're gonna run the risk of not being able to book that client.
But if you're certified in all 4 methods, and trust me, we know that we all have our favorite and least favorite, but if you have that knowledge of all 4, you're prepared to remove or install any method requested. And we truly believe also that knowledge is power, and knowledge also eliminates fear. And we are here to help you be as successful as humanly possible. If you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to both of us. You can reach us at marlis@dreamcatchers.com and dorothy@dreamcatchers.com. And we hope that this finds you healthy and happy, and we hope to talk to you soon.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to DC NSG Live. If you've joined us over the last couple lives, you've seen DC and you've seen NSG. Well, tonight we have something super excited, and we will be doing both DC and NSG simultaneously. I'm Josh. I'm one of the head educators with NSG, and I'm your host tonight, joined by these badasses here.
I'm Chris Mackey. I'm with the NSG team.
I'm Stacy. I'm with the DC team.
And I'm Amy Lynn, and I'm with the DC team.
So we are super excited for you guys to join us tonight. And starting right off the bat, I want to say if you are joining us for tonight's live between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, we have a special discount for you to get signed up with NSG. Now, if you want to take advantage of this amazing discount, you'll need to give us a call at 855-373-2683, and you will be receiving 25% off. Now, the NSG class is typically $14.99, so this is going to give you a $375 savings right off the bat, and that's just incredible. So, before we jump into everything, I want to show you guys just a little bit of what we have for you guys tonight. Not only are we going to be doing live models, we'll be answering your questions, and we're also going to be giving away some really cool prizes. So, Janice, you want to follow me over here real quick? I'm going to show you guys some of these gifts that we have for you for this evening. So we are going to be giving away some frame art tools, Babyliss Pro flat irons and curling irons, limited effects Babyliss NSG clippers, Shark Fin Monarch shears. We are also giving away grand prizes of a DC 4-in-1 kit and a NSG kit as well. And these kits, you guys, are jam-packed with everything you are going to need for your education and for your installs. So this NSG kit here is full of all of your adhesives, your liquids, your tools, everything you're going to need for a successful install and for killing it in class. And then you guys also have your DC 4-in-1 kit, which is going to give you all 4 systems and everything you need for a successful install. And we actually have an open kit over there by Amy. Hey, Amy, do you want to pop over and show us what they get in that DC kit?
Yes. So this DC kit is not only like the most gorgeous packaging I've ever seen, but you literally get everything that you need in here for all 4 systems. Like all the hair swatches, your sectioning clips, your threader, both different types of cylinders for 2 different methods. The warmer for the K-tips, and so much more.
Awesome. So these kits are, like I said, jam-packed with everything that you're going to need for your class and for your installs. So before we jump into everything, I want to introduce our amazing models that are joining us tonight. So over here, I'm joined by Nick. He is one of our NSG models. He's been with us for about 2 years. And he's been awesome through this entire process. And we've tried all kinds of different systems on him. Tonight, we're going to be using a poly system. And I'm going to be doing a new system on him. So I'm going to be transferring that mold. I'm going to be laying his system down, cutting the hair, giving him a nice new haircut. And I'm going to take you guys along for the journey. And Chris, what do you got?
So I have Miss Brenda, and we are going to be doing a reapplication of her unit today. She's one of our lovely NSG models that we've had the pleasure of working with for about the past year or two as well. She has currently, I believe, a combo unit on. So it's going to be a mix of the 2 different base types that we are going to be offering with NSG. So it's a great opportunity to see, reapplication with a long-haired unit as well. So you're going to see me actually go through the cleaning process as well as the reapplication. In the past, I've done a few cut-ins, but today we're going to be doing a reapplication. I'm really excited about getting this one done. Stacy?
Well, I have the beautiful Kylie here with me today, and she is new to DC Extension, so we're going to be doing an install that's going to be hybrid. We're going to do 2 methods and get her some DreamCatchers hair, and I think she's going to love it.
And Amy, what do you got going on over there?
I have the gorgeous Lexi over here, and I'm going to be doing a 2-row weft install with the hybrid wefts, the 24-inch. So we're going to make it nice and long and keep it nice and dimensional as well.
Awesome. So starting off with Nick, I have already created his mold. So we are going to be using his current mold today. Now the mold is very important for 2 reasons. One, it is going to make sure that every time you reapply your system, you're going to lay that system exactly where it needs to go. And 2, when you are creating your new system, it is going to map out exactly where that affected area is. So I'm going to be transferring this mold to his new system. Now, I'm not going to show you guys everything. If you want to see in depth how to do every part of this process, get signed up for one of our NSG classes. We have classes all over the country being taught by absolutely amazing educators. So I'm going to get started with this. Chris, what are you going to work on?
So we're going to go ahead and do the reapplication with Brenda's unit. She's been wearing this for about 4 weeks now. I believe the unit is around 8 weeks old. So, this unit looks great already. It just needs to be reapplied and cleaned and sterilized, which is part of the normal process that you'll be doing with your NSG clients. Everyone's going to change based on their body physiology, their oil, like how much, like their skin type, how much they work out, sweat. There's a lot of factors in this. So it ranges from person to person. But with Brenda, she gets hers reapplied about every 4 weeks, and it works out great for her. So I'm going to go through and first things first is I'm going to get the adhesive loosened. I'm going to spray through the top of the base with some ISO 99, which is our isopropyl alcohol. So that's going to break up the adhesive, and as we remove it, it's going to be comfortable. She's not going to feel any stress or tension on her new growth that is growing through where we previously shaved it. And Stacy?
Okay, so where I'm starting with Kylie is I'm going to do her color match. I chose 2 colors that I want to look at. I'm always going to want to go in on her ends and check to see what colors are going to go the best with her hair. I like a mix of 2 to give her, she's got dark hair, and I want to keep it dimensional and not just use one color. So I'm going to go in with DC 0 and DC 01. That way it just is a little dimensional. The 0 is a little, it blends perfectly with the 1, so she'll have like a nice dimensional brown. And then for the methods that I've chosen, we're going to do a hybrid look on her, and that's going to be 1 row of wefts, 2 bundles in that 1 row, and then I'm going to use half point eye tips to fill in at the bottom and then around her top and perimeter. Her hair's a little bit thinner, so we want to keep the half points just to keep the weight off, and then the wefts to give her the length and volume.
Awesome. I love that. And I'm also super excited for Kylie. Kylie works in-house here at our headquarters, and I'm super excited for her to get all this beautiful, long, luscious hair. So Amy, what do you got going on over there?
Well, I am going to install 2 rows of the 24-inch hybrid wefts on her. But whenever I went in to color match her, I wanted to focus on her root color here and the dimension throughout and make sure that I get all those shades in there so she's able to wear it straight, wavy, and it's going to blend and look seamless and very soft.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Now, what is one of the most important things when you're doing your color match?
The color match, well, with wefts especially, because it's going to be a curtain of hair, I like to take my swatches and hold them out and fan them out so that I can get a good idea of how that's going to match versus like the I-tip or the K-tips. So I'm going to hold that out, and I matched her root color. Then I also went in and found a blonde that matched some down here, and then I'm also going to get one that matches the darker blonde in there. So we're going to go in with 3 different shades.
I love that. That's going to be so dimensional. So I've gone in and I've traced out Nick's mold onto his new system. I don't know if that's very visible on camera here. Janice, you want to get in nice and close so everyone can see what I'm talking about? So you guys can see I have his mold. I went in and transferred that mold to our new system. Made sure that it is exactly the size it needs to be. And now once I've done that, I'm going to go in with a razor blade and very carefully cut this out. That way we can prep it and get ready to install Nick's new hair. So anytime I'm using a razor blade to cut out my systems, one, I'm very careful because these things are sharp as hell. 2, I'm going to expose just the very corner of that blade. Now when I go through, I'm going to make very small, clean cuts all the way around, avoiding creating a sawing motion because I don't want to cut the hair that's underneath. So I'm going to start working on this, and can't give everything away. So let's see what Chris has got going on.
All right, so I just got Brenda's unit removed. We are going to spend a little bit of time cleaning up her scalp as well as her unit. This process should take roughly about an hour and a half for the professionals. So I went through, sprayed my ISO 99 to break up the adhesive and give her a nice clean removal where it's not too rough. Now that we have that removed, I've set my NSG unit aside. I'm going to spray some of our amber solvent onto her head and massage that through. That's just going to really, I'm going to let time work for me. So I'm going to spray it on, work it in, and just let it sit for a little bit. Make sure that, when you are using solvents, you want to make sure that you are giving the solvent proper time to work. That way you're not overworking the client's skin, and it's just going to be a more comfortable experience for them.
Stacy, how y'all doing over there?
We are doing good. So something I wanted to talk about with Kylie's color match was also that she has a curly textured hair. So instead of doing straight I-tips and wefts, we're going to use wavy. That way it blends with her texture and she's able to wash and go, or she can style, and then they also will blend with her natural super beautifully. And then what I'm going to do is when you're using your swatch and color matching, for vertical methods like an I-tip, you're going to want to use a smaller section of your swatch instead of the whole thing, because you're going to want to see how that color is up against their natural. So you're not going to want to use just the whole part of the swatch. I'm going to go in, and I've used the smaller sections and decided on 0 and 1. And so I'm going to get her hair prepped and ready, and then she'll be starting her install soon.
So Stacy, tell us why you chose to do a hybrid install, and are you doing maybe you already mentioned this, are you doing half point or full point eye tips?
I am doing half point. So her hair is a little bit thinner. So just keeping that weight off of it and using those half points, I think will be perfect for her install. And then I'm going to do 1 row of wefts through the middle. That's going to give her a nice amount of like length and density to her install, and then be able to blend it all together with some half points just through her perimeter and at the top. That way it's covered nicely, and it's something that I think she'll really be able to take care of and like.
Awesome. How are we doing over here, Amy?
We're good. I just got her section for her 2 rows. I like to pre-section out. So I did the first one, got that pinned away, and this is where her bottom row is going to lay. And you want to make sure that it's going to be very clean sectioning, because you don't want any crosshairs, you don't want any tension over direction, because that's going to cause your client or guest to have irritation, possibly breakage, and that's what you do not want. So I'm going to use a little bit of a hairspray to just work up these hairs so that they don't get caught in there, and then I'm going to use my DreamCatchers Velcro thingies and just pop them in to hold any more of those little flyaways down so they don't get caught in my cylinder. And then I'm going to start sectioning and applying my cylinders.
All right, so I'm still working away at getting this system cut out. When you're doing this, it's very important that you work slowly and carefully. 1, you don't want to create any cuts that aren't needed, and 2, you don't want to cut yourself. So I'm still going to work through and get this cut out. Also, a couple things I want to say. If you are a certified DC stylist, take advantage of tonight's discount. Again, 25% off. Become certified in both DC and NSG. Again, NSG is the highest profiting service behind the chair out of anything. And we all love to make money, right? Also, if you are already an NSG certified stylist, we do have DC classes all over the country as well as online. So again, if you're certified in NSG, why not take advantage of this discount as well, which also goes across to DC, and become certified in extensions as well. Both extensions and non-surgical hair replacement are going to bring you a ton of money. And not only that, but you're going to change lives, especially with NSG. You know, as someone who's suffered from hair loss myself for the majority of my adult life, now wearing NSG, it does something for you that most people don't think is possible. It gives you that confidence back. It improves your self-image. And you as a stylist can now get certified in this and give that to your clients. You can give them something they never thought was possible. And for me, I feel like that's something so special and so amazing that we can offer that. So I'm going to jump back in and keep getting this cut out. And then once we get this cut out, we're going to prep it. We're going to prep Nick's scalp, get him his system laid down, get him cut, and I'm excited. It's going to look good. You guys are all going to look amazing by the time we're done tonight.
Everyone's going to look great. I'm using a fine-tooth comb to just go through and comb through Brenda's new growth that she has. We get that question a lot, which is, you know, as you're wearing this, even if you're wearing it for 4 weeks or so, will my natural biological hair keep growing through? The answer is yes. Those small hairs actually will grow through the medical grade adhesive, and they actually help anchor in the units. So it is a good thing. It won't affect any hair growth that you still do have, but obviously you can add a lot of hair on top, which is a great way to change your image. And like Josh was saying, you know, if you're a DC educator and you've already taken the class, you've seen what that can do for your business. And NSG is really exciting for us because that's kind of the next step for a lot of y'all that are already licensed and have been with DreamCatchers for a long time. Taking advantage of the 25% today is a, you know, easy way to be the first people in your area to offer the service and get in our network.
And one thing I want to add, everything that you see us using tonight, all the tools and accessories, all come in both the, if it's for NSG, it comes in the NSG kit. If it's a tool or accessory being used on the extensions, it comes in the DC 4-in-1 kit. So anything that is being used, it's not something that, oh, that's extra, oh, that's extra. When you sign up for our classes, you get everything that you need. We want to make sure that you are successful and that you have everything for a great install. How are we going over there, Stacy?
We are going good. So I am getting Kylie sectioned. And since her hair is curly, I'm going to go ahead and smooth the sections before I install, just so we have like a nice clean row, clean install. Makes for a nice grow out. And we always want that, especially when they're coming back in for their maintenance appointments. You want to be able to just find those rows super easy for eye tips and be able to adjust those. So I'm going to get her natural smoothed before I start installing. And I am doing the eye tips at the bottom. So right above her nape, I've sectioned her perimeter. I'm going to smooth that. And then that will be her first row of eye tips. It will be more of like a mini row.
So Amy, I see that you are currently installing your cylinders. What are a couple like key tips that you have for installing cylinders, whether you're working with eye tips or wefts?
Well, kind of going off of what Stacy just said, it's the cleanliness, the tidiness of the sectioning that is the most important. You don't want any crosshairs, you don't want any tension, and just making sure that it's nice and clean is going to ensure like the best possible outcome without any damage at all. And one thing I did do, because she has finer hair, I don't know if you want to zoom in on this, I went in and double beaded my first one right here, because this is just going to help on that fine hair, keep it from slipping. But that's the only trick I'm going to give you. You got to sign up for the class to learn more.
Awesome. Let's see. Do we have any good questions popping out? All right. So I see one. It says, one question, is the NSG a toupee? Because it looks like it, and I've trained in making wigs and toupees from Europe. Was going to go get the classes, but if it's a toupee, I feel like it's throwing money out. So I feel like a toupee is something totally different. NSG it's a hair system that is attached to the scalp, and it is going to be worn for anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks. And the quality of it, the craftsmanship of it is absolutely amazing. It's the best quality hair in the world, and it holds up so well over time. Nick here, his previous system, he had for over 9 months, and he probably could have kept going with it, but I was like, you know what, let's do something a little bit different. Let's give him something, you know, a little bit of a new style. So for me, NSG is definitely not a toupee. It's so much more.
And what would you say the other brands, like what their hair systems are lasting, to give people an idea on the range?
Like 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, you know, 3 months, 4 months is pushing it. The units, because of the quality of the hair, they last a little bit longer. You don't run into the same issues of dry units, where, especially with the lace units, where the knots are getting so dry that you start having that premature shedding, which is going to push you into a new unit and honestly cost you more money right off the bat. So the quality of the NSG and the craftsmanship, that's pretty much one of the highlighting points. And then, like Josh said, you know, toupees, wigs, most people are taking those off daily, nightly. This is more of a semi-permanent solution for someone suffering from hair loss.
And one cool thing that I want to point out, whenever you buy an NSG system, a lot of other brands, you get your hair system in a bag. And for me, I just feel like that's not very good presentation. When you order an NSG system, you get this awesome box. If you are a stylist offering this in your salon, you can find an area to store your boxes. You can put your client's name. Inside, you can put your client agreement, their mold. It also doesn't only come with their hair system. It comes with a little zipper pouch that has a travel size shampoo, conditioner, and a couple other things for their maintenance. A black satin pillowcase, which is super important for sleeping with not only a hair system, but also extensions. A lot of times cotton pillowcases can be kind of like a moisture wick and cause the hair to be dry and tangle easily. So with this, we're going to avoid that from happening. And you also get this little booklet with information and a certificate of authenticity. Also, one thing that sets NSG apart from many other brands is where we source our hair. So a lot of other brands source their hair from like China and India, which there's nothing wrong with wherever the hair is sourced as long as it's ethical. But we source our hair from, our hair is like a European blend. So typically we get it a little bit lighter, so we don't have to bleach it repetitively to get lighter tones. All we have to do really is deposit color and tone it down, which is one of the main reasons why our quality remains intact. And you will not see hair like this in any of the other competitive brands.
Right.
Josh, I want to add something about the box because I think that is game changing for not only the client, but also the stylist, because a lot of times I'll have a new client come in and they get new hair, and I like to give them a little care package to take home with them with shampoo that they should be using, conditioner, some instructions on how to do the hair, because if we get to talking during the appointment, they might leave and I might have forgotten a certain tip I wanted to give them. So these already coming to the stylist with things that are beneficial to the client are going to be amazing on both sides.
Absolutely. Protecting their investment.
Yes, for sure.
Definitely. All right, so I have finished cutting out Nick's mold. This is the hair that I cut off, so I'm going to discard this, or you can use this to make a lovely beard. Now, this is exactly the size of Nick's affected area, and that is why the mold is so important. Again, if you want to learn how to make the molds, this is one of the most important parts to like a successful install. You will learn start to finish in depth how to create molds for, you know, any client, any scenario in our hands-on classes. But now this is cut out, this is ready to go. All I have to do is wipe the base with ISO 99 to make sure that it is free from oils from my fingers, especially since I've been touching it as I've been cutting it out. And any oils from the skin can cause the adhesives to not want to stick as well, and that will result in the system lifting up. So we're going to wipe this down, and then I'm going to go in and prep Nick's scalp.
I also see a question, how many times can a unit be used on average? These clients will be using their systems until they need to be replaced. So they will be reapplying them about every 2, 3, 4 weeks, depending on the person. And the unit will last, I believe we were saying Nick's lasted well over 6 months. So
9 months, over
yeah,
9 months.
So over 9 months, and Brenda's as well. Her previous one was over 9 months. So they last quite a while.
All right, guys, so we are going to go to a quick commercial. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, not only are we going to be getting more in-depth with our installs, we will be giving away some amazing prizes. So watch this quick commercial and we'll be right back.
Sign up for DreamCatchers courses today and find out why we're the best in the industry. Join a class full of other talented individuals and become certified to install our high-quality extensions. Our expert educators will guide you through every detail in order to ensure you can step up your stylist game and pad your wallet. Give us a call at 855-373-2683 or visit dreamcatchers.com to find out how to sign up today.
Imagine a world where you're the key to unlocking confidence, where thinning hair becomes a thing of the past. With our non-surgical hair replacement classes, you'll learn from the very best, witnessing life-changing transformations that prove our methods work. Picture yourself confidently helping clients regain their hair and self-esteem. Our mentors will guide you every step of the way, ensuring your success. Join a rewarding career in hair restoration today. Transform lives with confidence. Your journey begins here.
this shipped out to you ASAP. Now, Stacy, what else do we got for them?
Okay, next we have a From Our bundle. It's going to be color brushes, gator grips, pop-up foils, and a champagne mommy brush. And this is going to go to Maria Lopez. So if you will send us an email to social media at DreamCatchers and give us your information, we'll get this shipped out to you. Congratulations.
Awesome. So again, living with LAIG, living with LAIIG, you got a Babyliss Pro Nano Titanium curling iron. And then Maria Lopez, you got a From Our bundle. So make sure to send us an email to socialmedia@dreamcatchers.com with your name, address, and phone number, and we'll get these shipped out to you as soon as possible. Let's jump back into it.
I'm ready.
So Amy, what do you got going on over there?
So I have just completed her anchor row with the cylinders, and now I am going through and applying the wefts to the row. And I'm starting out with my rooted one first. So that way if she were to pull her hair up, it's going to be more disguisable. Is that a word? I don't know. I made it up. Okay. Disguisable. So I'm just going to go through one by one and apply these wefts to her hair. I'm going to go in with the second shade we chose, which was another blonde. And then on top of that, I'm going to put the darker blonde on top of that.
Awesome. So I'm going to go in and start getting Nick's scalp prepped. Now, before I start shaving it down, I want to point something out on his scalp. So Janice, I want you to get nice and close. Nick, go ahead and look down for me. So back in, what was it, 2017? Nick had not one, but 2 hair transplant surgeries. So you guys can see here in the front, you can see the difference in the follicles. Now this just shows you that, you know, some solutions for hair replacement aren't guaranteed. Not only that, but it is painful, it's very expensive, and with NSG, it is not painful, it's not necessarily that expensive, and it's an amazing, quick, permanent solution, and the results are amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and get his scalp prepped. I'm going to shave his scalp down. Then I'm going to wipe his scalp down with alcohol, again, to make sure that we're removing any oils or any kind of residue. And then we will get into our adhesive application. And Stacy, what do you got going on over there?
So I'm installing Kylie's first row. Another thing, when I color matched, I also looked at her natural, which she does have dark hair, and I made sure that the cylinders I chose would match her natural so that she would have a seamless blend as we worked on her install. So she has dark cylinders, and I'm just working on her first row. So when I get it all done, I will give you guys a close-up. And I've also used my DreamCatchers Velcro strips to make it a nice, clean, no crosshair row, so it'll be comfortable for her as well.
Awesome. So currently off camera, well, technically on camera, but off set, Chris is getting Brenda prepped. So Chris, what are you doing over there to get Brenda's scalp cleansed?
So we're in the cleaning process for Brenda. So I'm doing a few things. Right now I have her NSG unit soaking in warm water off on the side. We have it doused in solvent. So that solvent's going to work with the warm water. And then she still has a little bit of adhesive right in between on the track line from where, you know, her affected area where we shave it down to her biological hair that's longer. So we need to get this all cleaned up. I'm going to use the, yes, that's great. I'm going to go ahead and use our cleanser shampoo. It's got light granules in it. It's going to break the adhesive up. And then we'll go through and do a normal shampoo for her biological hair and one last cleanse. We want to make sure we're taking out all the oil that we can from the hair and just making sure that everything is cleaned and prepped for a solid attachment. The better we clean her hair and the more oil we can remove from her skin in this process, it's going to give her a better, tighter hold, which is going to give her a better experience. And once we're done with this, I'm going to bring her back. We'll reshave down the top sterilize her skin and her scalp as well, and finish cleaning the unit and get it prepped up for our reattachment.
Awesome. So I see a question in the chat box. Kathleen is asking, are there any NSG classes close to Erie, Pennsylvania? If you go to nsghair.com and click on education, we have a full list of all of our upcoming hands-on classes. Also, if you don't see one, you can request a class at your own salon. Let's see. Oh, I just noticed that Dorothy and Marlis are in the chat. Hey guys.
Hey, Dorothy
So
and Marla.
for those of you guys that don't
Dorothy and
know,
Marlis.
Dorothy and Marlis are, first off, two of the most amazing girls that I know. But they are the two head educators for DreamCatchers, and they are also head educators with NSG as well. And Marlis works here at our headquarters, so I get to see her and bug her every day. So I'm still prepping my Nick's scalp. I want to make sure that I'm being gentle and not creating any cuts or micro abrasions, because one, when we wet the scalp with alcohol, that is going to burn, and we don't want that. And then we don't want any wounds or cuts or anything underneath the adhesive. Now you guys will notice, Denise, go ahead and get nice and close over here. So I'm taking my trimmers and I'm going against the grain of the head, and I'm not pressing. I'm using the weight of the trimmers to do all of the work for me. Now you don't want to do this with a straight razor or a foil razor. You want to make sure that you still have a little bit of stubble, because that's actually going to create an anchor for your adhesive. So I'm going to continue to get him shaved down. And then again, I'm going to go in with ISO 99. Also, one more thing. These awesome Babyliss Pro trimmers, which are also engraved with NSG, you will receive in your NSG kit. So again, everything that we are using here on our models, you guys will also be getting, which I think is amazing. What other brand out there gives you this amazing trimmer in your kit? You usually get a couple items in a box and hair in a bag, and NSG, we're not about that. How's everything going over there, Amy?
It's going good. I'm halfway through sewing on her weft, and I don't think I actually talked about why I chose wavy hair. Wavy hair, it's actually a steam wave. It's not going to stay like this, but why we chose it is because the natural texture compared to this texture compared to her natural texture is what's going to make it look even more, what's the word what am I looking for? Yeah, seamless. But again, it is a steam wave. It's not going to stay wavy. I just like that it has a little bit more texture to it for the girlies that have a little bit of a natural wave in their hair.
It's going to give her such a nice texture.
And I'm all done with Kylie's first row. I did just a mini row at the bottom, but I wanted to show that I stayed with perimeters just so that whenever she puts her hair up, you won't see any cylinders. And then I'll move up and do one more mini row of I-tips before we start her wefts.
Okay, so I have gone in and I've shaved down Nick's scalp, and I've wiped his scalp with ISO 99. Now I sprayed the ISO 99 on a microfiber towel and wiped his scalp with that. I don't want to use any kind of towel that's going to be rough because it's going to be uncomfortable. So using a microfiber towel is going to be nice and soft. It's going to be nice and comfortable for them. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use the hairline measuring tool, which comes in your kit. This white grease pencil, which again comes in your kit, and Nick's mold, which you guys will learn how to create in the hands-on classes. Now, on my mold, I like to put a little note of what I mark their hairline at. So for example, for Nick, I have hairline 7, which tells me that the number 7 on here is where his hairline needs to sit. So first, I'm going to take this tool And again, I've already wiped his scalp with ISO 99, so I've made sure there's no oil or residue on there. I'm going to place this in the divot of his bridge of his nose, and then I'm going to mark right there at 7. Now when I take his mold and lay this onto his scalp, I'm going to make sure everything's lined up. Once I've assured that it is exactly where it needs to sit, I'm going to go in. I'm going to mark that hairline all the way across. Now, once I've gotten to this point, I'm going to go and I'm going to move into prepping his scalp. And starting off, I'm going to use anti-sweat, which is an antiperspirant for the scalp. Now, this doesn't make the scalp not sweat for the entire time they're wearing a system. This helps their scalp from sweating for the first 24 to 48 hours to give their adhesive time to cure and fully bond. So I'm just going to do a couple light mists of this and then move into the next step of our application. Stacy, how's it going over there with Kylie?
It is going good. Another tip that I like to use for eye tips is always keeping your sections nice and narrow. You don't want to over direct. You want the section to be wider than the cylinder that you're putting in. So then that way it kind of gives you a little guide that you just don't want wide sections. You don't want to over direct. You want that nice clean row and install for your client.
Awesome. How's everything going over there with you, Amy and Lexi?
Going good. I am finishing up sewing our first row. I'm going to get started on the second row. Just trying to make sure that these wefts stay nice and tight to the scalp while I'm sewing them on. A little trouble. There we go.
So tell me, why is it important to make sure that they're staying nice and tight to the scalp while you're sewing them?
Because you want it to lay nice and flat, not have any bubbles in between. That way it's more comfortable while they're wearing them. It's just a cleaner application. So I like to use my finger and press up against the wefts as I'm sewing.
So I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a perimeter of clear bond on Nick. And again, this adhesive you get in your kit. This is the strongest hold adhesive that will come for NSG applications. And I love doing a combination application with clear bond and tape because the clear bond gives a nice, strong, solid foundation for that tape to stick to. And it also kind of gives the client more time and more layers that their natural oil and sweat have to break down, giving them a longer hold. I'm going to go right along the front, but not exactly down to his front hairline because I don't want to have any adhesive hanging out from where we're going to have that system applied. And then while I allow that to dry, I'm going to go in and I'm going to tape the hairline of Nick's system. Now there's a few different ways to do this. We do have hairline tape tabs that are both slight curve and boomerang, which are absolutely amazing. For Nick, since he has a poly system and he's not going to be changing his tape tabs, I'm going to use our regular tape cut to contour along that front hairline. So I'm just going to gently cut a slight curve into that. And then I'm going to go in and make sure that it's going to fit right along that edge. So I'm going to follow this all the way across the front of his system, taping that front hairline. And then once I have this taped, I'm going to move on and get his scalp taped. And Stacy, how's everything over there with Kylie?
Everything is going good. Kylie, how's it feeling so far? So far, so good, she says. A tip I also want to throw out there for when you're doing extensions, it doesn't matter the method, making sure that you're always standing directly behind your client. You don't ever want to position yourself to be to the side or not just center on with that section that you're working on, because it will lead to crosshairs. It could lead to that row not being even, and also those cylinders just being out of place. So I'm going to work on the rest of this row, and then we'll start her weft install.
So I see Gloria Maria asked, does NSG offer hair units for people that have partially lost their hair on top? I see Marlis also responded and said yes. What's awesome is our systems come in an 8x10 system that you can use the mold to customize to any affected area. Some people like to create just a small piece to go along the front hairline. Some people just need a little system to go in the crown. You can even customize it for people that have burn scars. For example, we have one model that has a burn scar in his recession area, and in order to give him a more natural, even looking hairline, we created just this tiny little triangle piece to fit right in there, and it's totally undetectable, blends right into his own natural hair. And it's amazing. You can customize NSG for any scenario.
I am finishing up this bottom row. I'm going to get started on my second one. Got it all installed. It's laying nice and flat to the head.
And those colors are looking amazing, Amy.
I can't wait to get it trimmed up, blended, and styled, because it's all going to come together beautifully.
Okay. So again, still taping the front hairline. And don't forget, guys, tonight from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, if you are interested in getting signed up with NSG or getting signed up with DreamCatchers, take advantage of this extra 25% off. You're not going to get this discount any other day, any other time, except for tonight for this 2-hour live. So again, give us a call at 855-373-2683. And our call center is standing by waiting for you. And if you call and you don't get through, it may be busy, keep trying, keep calling. Again, this is something that you want to take advantage of. If you've been thinking of getting into hair replacement or thinking about getting into hair extensions, don't wait, just do it. And you will be blown away at how much this is going to boost your income. And it's also going to elevate your profile as a professional in the industry as well.
This is definitely a deal you do not want to miss out on. That discount alone is worth so much taking the class.
So I am prepping her second row, kind of like I did the first one. I'm just making sure that my lines are very clean. All the flyaways are sprayed up before I lay my Velcro down. And then I will start sectioning out and applying the cylinders.
Okay. So I've just about completed taping the front hairline on Nick's system. Again, I'm getting as close to that front hairline as I possibly can without overlapping. Anytime you are installing a hair system, you absolutely do not want that tape to overlap and go outside of your system. That is going to create a huge mess for you and your client when that adhesive starts to break down. If it is sticking outside of their system, it is going to chance seeping into their bio hair, into their system hair, and it's just going to create a huge mess, which you will have to clean up when you do their reapplication. So once I have this finished, I'm just going to remove this backing right here. I'm going to start and get Nick's scalp taped, because by now that clear bond has dried and cured. One good way to know that is I'm just going to take my pinky and tap, and as long as that adhesive isn't going to come up and be all stringy, It's just tacky. I know it's good to go. So now I'm going to take our tape and I'm going to visualize where I need to cut it. Now I don't want to go too far forward because again, I don't want this tape to stick out of the front of his system, and I don't want to go into his natural hair. So I'm going to visualize and see where I need to cut it. I'm just going to cut off that excess. I'm going to double check. And then I'm going to go in and lay that tape down. So I'm going to get the rest of his scalp taped. And then once we have his scalp taped, we will be ready to lay his new system on and then get his system cut. And I'm super excited about that. I know he's going to look great with his new hair. And I'll show you guys a couple little tricks when we get to that as well. So Stacy.
Yes, Josh.
What are some little tricks or hacks that you have when it comes to eye tips?
So I like to stay in a perimeter. So as you can see, I am finished with her first two little mini rows, but I like to take 2 fingers and stay in a perimeter all the way around. That way when they're going into ponytails and styling their hair, it kind of gives like a nice foundation for a perimeter. So 2 fingers all the way around, and is usually pretty safe to not show any cylinders. All right, and as you can see, I did match her cylinders to her natural, and she's got a seamless blend going on. So I'm going up to start her weft install now. Another eye tip trick would be that I do like to use half points for perimeters or around the face. The full points sometimes might just be a little too heavy for those areas. So being able to break that up and use half points for filler or just in more delicate areas is nice to be able to offer, along with having the density of the full point to use throughout the hair on your client as well.
So I see a couple questions that I would like to answer. One, they are, let's see. Are there any specific products recommended to use on the NSG unit? If you are talking about like styling products or shampoos and conditioners, anything that is going to be moisturizing and hydrating is what you're going to want to use. Avoid anything that has too much oil or any kind of product that has alcohol. And when it comes to styling products, I always suggest using any kind of product that is water soluble so it can easily be rinsed from the hair. Try to avoid products that need to be really cleansed out of the hair because you don't want to over shampoo the NSG system. You don't want to create too much friction on it to cause any kind of breakage or shedding. So yeah, anything that's hydrating, moisturizing, and anything that is free of too much like heavy oils or alcohol. And then Elissa, I see, said, so if the client had it come up a little bit, would they have to make an appointment for a new one, or would there be anything they could do? Looks like it's cut off a little bit there. Courtney, do you want to scroll up just a little bit? Or is there anything they could do at home? So if the NSG system comes up, you don't have to get a new system. These systems will last 6+ months. As you guys heard with both Nick and Brenda, their systems both lasted over 9 months. So if they get any lifting, they would just come in and it may be time for their reapplication. If you have them on a schedule and they're starting to get lifting, you may have to shorten the time of their appointments. So yeah, you definitely don't have to have them come in and get a new system. It may just be time for their reapplication and their maintenance service, which is going to be anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks. I personally do mine every 2. I like it to be fresh and secure all the time. Some people can go as long as 4 or 5 weeks. I believe Brenda goes about 4, 4.5, sometimes 5. It also depends on, your activity level. Do you sweat a lot? Do you have a very oily scalp? Your climate as well. Are you in a very hot, humid climate? Or is your climate more like cooler, not as humid? That's going to play a big factor as well. So yeah, so I'm still getting Nick's scalp taped. For Nick, we're doing what's called a perimeter application. So I'm just taping around the perimeter of his scalp, which is going to give him scalp freedom down the center. So I have both sides taped, and I'm just going to connect the back, and then I'm going to do a second layer of tape. But we have Chris back now. So Chris, what do we got going on? How'd it go with the cleaning?
It went great. So we got Brenda's system and her scalp cleanse. I went through and did my ISO 99, my rubbing alcohol to sterilize. And now we're going to go ahead and just remove any of her new growth. Roughly for most, it's going to be right under 1/2 inch. Just make sure that you're using your ISO 99 first. That way you can avoid any, if you do have any leftover adhesive, you shouldn't, but if you do, it's not getting caught up in your trimmers. Keeps your blades nice and sharp. After we shave this down, I'm going to go through and continue to work on the sterilization and cleaning aspect of getting her system finished. So I removed all of the solvent and the adhesive that was in her system. So the adhesive was left over from her reattachment. The solvent, whenever you spray that solvent, it's very oily. So if you've ever done extensions, you know that's super important to make sure that's thoroughly cleansed out and removed. So whenever we go in for our next application, it's going to be as strong as we can get it. So I'm going to go through after I'm done shaving her head, and we'll do rubbing alcohol in the system and get that prepped. We're going to apply adhesive. She's a tape application, so no liquid adhesive, no glue today. But yeah, should be pretty easy. It's going good.
So Amy, what do you got going on over here? How's it going with the lovely Lexi?
Going good. I'm still creating my anchor row on her second row. Again, and I think this is with every system, just being precise and clean with everything is super important. So I always take my time when I'm sectioning and keep going back. And like one thing that stuck out to me on one of these cylinders is a little too elevated. So I'm going to go in with my bead openers and just release that so I can reposition it and so it'll lay nice and flat to her head. But you've just got to take your time and be very precise and not rush through it so that everything lays correctly and it's comfortable for your guest.
Awesome. Well, oh my God, it's already been an hour. This time is flying. So guys, it looks like it is time to break for another quick commercial. So don't go anywhere. When we get back, we're going to start laying their systems on, getting everyone cut and styled. You're going to start to see these looks coming together. And we're also going to do another giveaway. So we'll see you guys in just a couple minutes.
Unlock your potential in the world of beauty. Ready to become a certified extensions pro? Sign up now for DreamCatchers extensions classes. Elevate your skills, seize endless opportunities, and turn dreams into reality. Empower yourself with expertise. Head to dreamcatchers.com and get signed up today.
I started wearing extensions after I gave myself a COVID cut and dye job. So I messed up my hair, and luckily I found DreamCatchers, and they gave me a lot more confidence than I had before. Right now I have a hybrid extension system in my hair. I have wefts and I have I-tips. So for the wefts, they help fill in a lot of volume that I'm lacking. And then for the I-tips, my natural hair is about 10 inches shorter than the extensions. I'm wearing 24-inch extensions right now. And what the I-tips do is it kind of grabs at those baby hairs that I have and makes it kind of more natural, fills in that space that I wouldn't otherwise have. I feel like the DreamCatchers hair extensions has complemented my style so much. Not only does it make me feel a lot more confident, I love having long hair in general. I feel like the quality of my DreamCatchers hair extensions are great. They last, they're voluminous. I feel like when I style them, they look natural. They don't tangle like, cheaper extensions do, so I'm so happy with the quality of my hair. I feel like when I go out, whether it's for work or whether it's for friends, I get a lot of compliments, and a lot of the time people don't even realize that it's not my hair, and that's always a good thing, so happy about that.
All right, so we're back with another giveaway. Well, actually 4.
Yeah.
You guys, these prizes tonight are incredible. So we are going to now give away a pair of these amazing limited effects Babyliss Pro clippers. These are the clippers I use behind the chair every day, and they are absolutely amazing. So this is going to go to the soda machine _the_soda_machine_. Send us an email to socialmedia@dreamcatchers.com with your name, address, phone number. These amazing clippers are going to be coming home to you. Next, we are giving away a pair of the Shark Fin Monarch shears. And these guys, these are incredible. These are valued at about $1,000. And I've used shark fin shears now for, I'd say, 5-10 years, if not more. So these are going to Alyssa Shupman. Again, Alyssa Shupman, you are getting the Monarch Shark Fin Shears. Send us an email to socialmedia@dreamcatchers.com with your name, address, and phone number, and then these babies will get shipped out right to you. Amy, what do you got?
And then we have another clipper winner. Explain these again, because I don't use clippers.
So these are the Babyliss Pro Limited Effects clippers. One thing I also forgot to mention on these ones, they are custom engraved with NSG on them, which is just a really cool extra little detail. These are, in my opinion, one of the best clippers that I've ever used. So who gets those?
Gloria Maria is the winner of these clippers.
Awesome.
And email.
So send an email to socialmedia@dreamcatchers.com. Name, address, and phone number.
And then the last one for right now is the Babyliss Flat Iron, the Nano Titanium Flat Iron. And this one goes to Cat Mama 740.
Meow.
You're going to
All
email.
these screen names.
CatMama740. So send an email to socialmedia@dreamcatchers.com with your name, address, and phone number. So again, all of you that have won an amazing prize so far, send your info, your name, your address, wherever you want these shipped to, and your phone number to socialmedia@dreamcatchers.com. So let's jump back over here. Hey, Stacy, what do you got going on over there with Kylie?
So Kylie is now getting her weft row. I'm laying the foundation with the cylinders. As I said earlier, she is getting a hybrid install. So I started with the half point I-tips. Now I'm going into a 1-row install for the weft. And what I'm using is 2 of our wefts. So I'm using one of each color that I've picked. I'm using the DC1 and also the DC0. And something that I like to do when I'm working on a row and laying the foundation, I like to section, and then I like to take my weft and just measure it on their head before I start sewing, just to kind of see if I like where my foundation is, if I like where the cylinders are, how far forward it's coming, if it's staying in like my range of perimeter that I want. And also something about our wefts that are very unique and amazing is they have no mustache, no beard. They're so comfortable to your client. Seamless at the top. They are machine tied or machine sewn, so you can customize them. You can cut into them. They're not going to ravel. They are game changing for sure. 2 extensions. All the wefts are amazing. The machine tied wefts are the game changer for sure. So comfortable. But it's nice to be able to customize that. So if I start to sew and realize that I've got a little bit too long, I wait till the end, and then I can always clip a little piece off if it's too long, and there's going to be no raveling, no issue with that weft at all. So very customizable.
So I see someone is asking, would the discount extend to, oh, it just went away. Someone was asking if the discount would extend to the 2024 classes. Tonight's discount is only, it's only valid from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it is valid for any classes we currently have listed on our website. I believe we do have some on January, or some listed on the website for January, but anything that gets listed down the road, tonight's discount will not be valid for that. But we always have different amazing deals going on. So let's see. I love all this education you guys do. Thank you. I see Marlis in here still. Thanks, Marlis. I hope you guys are all enjoying. So I have Nick's scalp totally taped. Go ahead and look down for me, Nick. And Jenny, so I'm going to have you get nice and close over here. So you guys can see I've taped around his perimeter. I also went across the front here just to give a little extra security. He has total scalp freedom right here. And then right here in the front, I've already taped the front hairline on his system, which is going to secure that in the front. So, Nick, are you excited to get your new hair? Yeah, me too. So I'm going to get his system laid on. But I don't want to give this all away to you guys because you guys are going to learn this and so much more in our hands-on classes. Again, 25% off tonight between 6 and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure to give us a call at 855-373-2683. We have amazing women working in our call center, staying late tonight to take your calls. If you call and the line's busy, don't give up. Keep calling. They're going to answer. But remember, this 25% off is valid for only tonight. So, Chris, does that mean this 25 is valid tomorrow? No. Amy, is this 25% off valid at midnight tonight?
No.
No. Hey, Stacy, how long is this 25% discount good for?
From 6 to 8 Central only.
6 to 8 only. That means you got an hour left. I can't believe how fast this time is going. All right, so I'm going to lay down Nick's system. Nick, go ahead and lay your head back just a little bit for me. Right about there. So, Stacy, how's everything going over there with Kylie?
Everything is going good. So I am clipping her wefts in right now to get ready to start sewing. And what I did was put the DC1 first, and then I have put the DC0 on top for a nice seamless blend. I already have my needle threaded and ready to go. So I will be sewing her weft right now.
Awesome. And you know, so I also do extensions in addition to NSG. And whenever you're doing extensions, NSG, any kind of professional service, it is very important to do your prep work ahead of time. So prepping your station, getting your tools ready, when you're doing wefts or any kind of cylinder-based extension, getting your cylinders threaded, getting your needle threaded. That way, when you start working on your client, you're not having to fumble and get all of this stuff done. It's already done, ready to go, and you can smoothly work through the service. So, Amy, how are we doing over there?
We're doing good. I am applying the wefts to this top row, and I did a blonde blend on the bottom and then a rooted on top. That way, if her hair were to split, if the wind blows or something, it's going to blend in and be seamless. So we matched the root to her natural root for this one.
I'm going to jump in with another little tip about wefts. Those also need very nice, clean lines, clean rows for a clean install. And one thing I like to do when I'm sewing is as I'm going pocket to pocket, I like to leave one of my fingers right under that weft so that when I'm sewing up, but then it's also not pulling any crosshairs so that whenever I pull that thread tight, nothing has gotten into that pocket, no crosshairs got in. I just like to keep that for like a little placeholder.
That's a great tip.
And Josh mentioned that he likes to have all of his tools out on his station, ready to go, kind of, condense that process for your clients. That's another great thing about the kit that we have. Everything's there. It looks super well packaged, looks professional. So if you're going to go, maybe have like a concierge service for somebody doing hair replacement, giving them their first NSG unit especially, it looks awesome. And everything's there. You don't have to worry about it. Everything that you need to get from start to finish other than the hair is going to be included in the kit. And my personal favorite is going to be the manual that you can use as a nice little reference guide after you've already come to take the class.
You mean the Bible?
The Bible.
That NSG manual, guys, is like the Bible of hair replacement services. It is going to give you every detail that you need for every aspect of a successful NSG application. Now, if you guys are wondering, what the hell am I doing with this towel over Nick's head? I'm not just giving him a scalp massage. I'm pressing that system down, making sure that it is nice and secure, making sure that that tape or adhesive has bonded both to the scalp and the system. And I'm not going and creating a lot of friction. I'm more so just creating I'm creating nice pressure on his scalp. So now we have his system laid on. And already we can see that that color match is so good. So how's it going over here, Chris?
It's going great. I already went through and me and Brenda got her clean, sterilized with our ISO 99 rubbing alcohol. I then went and took her template, or her mold, if you will, and placed that right onto where we like her system to lay. Most of your clients are going to be able to, they'll form some type of tan line. So it really does get easier as you're going through. But if you just go back to the conversation we had earlier, the biggest point of having a template and a mold is that so you're always placing it exactly where it is. It's going to give your clients the most realistic approach to wearing, NSG and making it, their own hair, right? So we got that on, went through our sterilization process. I've applied my dotted hairline, and that's going to be my reference point. So whenever I'm laying on the system, I don't have to worry about, am I on the tan line or not? My dotted out hairline is going to be the perfect guide for me to get that on flawlessly.
Awesome. So Janice, I want you to come over here real quick and get nice and close. Look how natural the scalp and hairline of the NSG system looks. Go ahead and look down for me, Nick. Especially when you look right at that scalp, it looks like the hair is literally growing out of his scalp. Totally undetectable, totally natural looking. And then that hairline looks, again, like the hair is growing straight from his scalp. Absolutely love how natural that looks. And now we're going to go ahead and get him cut. So first I'm going to lightly mist his hair down with some water. Anytime you lay a new NSG system on, you don't want to soak the hair when you're misting it because you don't want to cause that adhesive to lift, especially when you're working with a lace system. You don't want that water to go through the lace into their tape or adhesive. So I'm going to mist him down and I'm going to get him sectioned for his cutting. And Amy, why don't you tell us what you've got going on over there?
Well, I'm sewing on her wefts now. Just taking my time and making sure that my needle and thread is going on each side of the cylinder. And then once we get this in there and secure, I'm going to go through and blend her in, her natural hair into the extensions and style her. I can't wait to see it all done. All these colors mixed together.
So I'm also working on sewing Kylie's weft. And one thing I'd like to add is we've talked about color matching their natural hair to the extensions, also to the cylinders, but then there's also color matching for the thread. So whenever you're using, whenever you're sewing your wefts, you always want to use the thread color that's closest to their natural, because that's going to be where it's setting, is right at the top of that weft. So you want that nice seamless blend at the top as well as throughout and at the ends.
So I see someone asking about swimming with an NSG system. So you can definitely swim. You can do any kind of activities that you would like to. It just comes down to making sure that you're properly, having your system maintained, making sure that you're not allowing that chlorine to bake in the hair. So if you do go swimming and you get your hair wet, which it happens, we all understand, make sure you're going ahead and shampooing that chlorine or that salt water out of your hair. I personally enjoy going to the pool during the summer and my hair gets wet. If I wanted to, I could dive right in head first. My system's not going to go anywhere. Also, if you are someone that likes, more adventurous things, you can ride roller coasters with NSG, you can skydive with NSG. It is not going to go anywhere. As long as you're not, past your, scheduled maintenance, you're going to be good, which is amazing. When I first got a hair system, I was like, oh, is the wind going to blow it off? And it's definitely not. So I've got Nick's hair section for the beginning of his haircut. I always like to start in the back, and I'm going to create my first cut and then work my way around and then through the top, and I'm going to end in the front around the face. So I'm going to get started with that. Chris, how's it going over there with Brenda's system?
It's going great. So I have her her scalp prep has been applied. Skin prep, we went ahead and applied that with a foam applicator. That's going to reduce any irritation that she might have. It's also going to give her a stronger attachment as she is wearing her NSG unit. We like to tell people, think of your skin prep, that's like your primer before the paint. You don't want to just put the adhesive directly onto her skin because her skin's going to produce oils. So we want to make sure that there's a small barrier. It's going to give it a stronger attachment. And I personally always like to use it. So I have that on. I've already applied her tape to the front hairline of her NSG unit. And we're going to go ahead and apply the rest of her adhesive to her head. So I'm going to do a perimeter strip method, which means we'll go right around the perimeter of where her biological and affected area meet. And then I'm going to do a cross strip right across the center to give her a little bit more security through the top so she doesn't feel any lifting as she's wearing this throughout the month.
Awesome. So Amy and Lexi, what do you guys got going on over there?
Well, I am finishing up this second row. I just got to my last cylinder, and as Stacy was talking about, what's great about these hybrid wefts is that we can cut them. So I am going a little further over from my first cylinder. So once I get it secure where I want it, I can just go in and cut it, and I don't have to worry about anything unraveling or coming undone. And then once I get that done, I'm going to get her all trimmed up. We'll be finished.
Awesome. Yeah, that's looking so good. And all the dimension in her hair from the colors that you chose is so beautiful.
Dimensional blondes are my favorite. And I love that you can create that look with just extensions.
Yes. So I'm working through the back of Nick's hair. Janice, go ahead and get nice and close here so everyone can see. Look how well that system is already blending in to Nick's hair.
Yeah,
you can't see where that system ends. Does it end here? Does it end here? Does it end here? And that's your goal. When you're doing a hair system, you want it to have a nice soft blend. You guys will also notice that I'm using the NSG blending comb, which is one of my favorite tools for when I'm cutting not only NSG, but when I'm cutting hair extensions or even just hair cutting in general. I'm a visual hair cutter. So when I'm using the blending comb, it's almost like I'm sculpting that haircut. So now I've established the length in the back. I'm going to go ahead and work around to the sides. But I'm not going to make you guys sit here all night and watch me cut hair. Let's see what Stacy's got going on over there with Kylie.
So I am finishing up Kylie's weft row. And what I was talking about earlier is being able to customize these wefts. You never want to cut before you start installing. So I left my wefts exactly how they came, 11 inches in width. And as I'm finishing up and getting ready to anchor, I noticed that she just has a little extra. So before I anchor, that's when I'm going to go ahead and trim off that excess. Because if you trim it off before and you think that you need a certain amount, you could short yourself. And then as you're installing and sewing, it needs a little bit of extra. So you always want to do that at the very end before you anchor. That way you don't short the anchor or get it too tight or try to fit in where you had trimmed it too early. I also tried to keep a very nice and clean install for her. I'm using my Velcro strips from DreamCatchers and just keeping everything nice and secure. Another thing that a lot of people seem to ask, like stylist-wise, is when they're sewing, they wonder why their thread starts to dip down instead of staying on top of the weft. And a tip that I can give you about wefts is whenever you're sewing, each pocket, you should keep your tension going up with your thread, because if you pull the thread down, that's where you can start to see that thread not staying at the top of the weft. It starts to kind of get like a little wave to it. So holding your tension up as you sew through those pockets will always keep that thread nice and clean on top of the weft. So next I will start trim the little bit of excess. I will also anchor her, and then I'm going to take everything down, assess how many half point eye tips I want to add in for filler around the face.
I'm truly so excited to see how that comes out. It's going to look so pretty. So again, I'm still working around the sides of Nick's hair. Anytime I'm doing hair cutting with NSG, I work kind of back and forth. I'll create my, start to my haircut, and then I'll work one way, work the other way, and I keep doing that, making sure that I've got a nice blend, making sure everything's looking good. I also start a little bit longer than I think I want to go. Again, since this hair is not going to grow, you don't want to cut it too short. You can always cut it a little bit more if you need to. So I'll typically leave it a little bit longer, then I'll blow dry it, and then I'll go back in and do a little bit of refining. But it's also very important to make sure that you are creating a lot of texture when you are doing your haircut with a hair system, because unlike natural hair, if you cut a blunt line and that hair grows, that line is going to soften over time. With a hair system, or even extensions, if you cut a blunt line, it is going to stay a blunt line. So if we cut a blunt line here, and then his hair grows, you're going to start to have a shelf. So it's important to make sure that you have a lot of texture so that it just seamlessly blends from their system right down into their bio hair. So how are we doing over here, Chris? I see you're taping Brenda's hairline.
Yes, sir. Got her hairline taped, and we've already went through and applied her perimeter taping onto her scalp. After I'm finished with this, we're going to go ahead and lay it on. Once again, when we go back to like laying it on, my reference point that I'm going to be using is my dotted hairline. We use a white pencil as well, a grease pencil, because it's easy to come off, as well as it doesn't show heavily. Some people, they'll use different things to mark. My advice would be use the white pencil, because a little bit of rubbing alcohol, you can take it off. Also, if you accidentally happen to overlap your adhesive on top of that, it's not going to be as noticeable as if you're using, say, like a highlighter or a Sharpie to mark it out.
So I have a quick tip for wefts. When you're threading your needle, you always want to make sure you have enough thread, because you never want to get close to the end and run yourself short to where you don't have enough excess thread to tie the knot off and finish up the weft. So as you see, I have plenty of extra thread. I like to work with more thread especially not short. And then whenever I am going to finish up that anchor and tie off the thread, I also like to cut it where I have enough thread to work with. That way I can tie easily and then still have that excess room to get in there and trim the knot. If you get it down too short, you're going to struggle with being able to tie that knot as many times as you need to, and you could risk the thread starting to unravel as they wear them, and you just don't want any of those problems.
And there's nothing worse than when you are tying off a weft and you don't have enough thread. It's always better to have more than enough thread than not.
That is for sure. So I am done with Kylie's weft row now. This is what we have so far.
So Stacy, what is your plan after her weft row? Are you doing more I-tips?
I am. So I'm going to drop her natural, and I'm going to see where I see any disconnects, or if there's any areas that I just want to add a few I-tips in. That way she has a nice, full, lengthy, beautiful install.
Love that. Kylie is going to look so awesome.
She's already awesome too.
So I'm still working on Nick's haircut. Now when I'm working with the blending comb, again, I'm doing very light pressure, and I'm not creating. I'm going to wait for Janice to get nice and close so that I can show you guys my motion here. So I'm not creating like hard cutting. I'm more so creating light scooping motions. So again, I'm taking my blade, very lightweight. I'm not putting pressure on, because if I put too much pressure, I'll show you guys down here, that's going to create a blunt line, which we do not want. So I'm going to go in with light pressure. I'm just going to carve light, slow C motions. And then what I like to do is kind of follow behind that with a little more texture to start getting that nice soft blend in. Again, texture is everything when you are creating the blend from the NSG system to their bio hair. You guys can see here around the back, we're starting to get a really nice blend in there. Starting to blend seamlessly from his bio hair into his hair system, and that color match is amazing. Now, speaking of color matching, I'm just going to pop right over here. I'll be right back. When you are doing your NSG installs, one thing that is super, super, super important is going to be your NSG swatch ring. Now, no matter how good your install is, if you don't have a proper color match, it is not going to look as great as it could. I'm going to get a little more into this right after this commercial, so don't go anywhere.
My name is Dustin Hanley. I live in Dallas, Texas, and I'm a hairstylist. I've been a hairstylist now about 10 years. Yeah, no, I definitely have several male clients that are prematurely balding. We definitely have conversations, especially now that I have mine, because they've seen my struggle with hair loss and everything, and seen the results of NSG on me and the difference it makes. So yeah, there's definitely, I've been getting quite a bit of interest in it. Some of the conversations I've had with my clientele that are thinking about doing a non-surgical hair replacement, like I said, we've looked at my journey with it and what it looks like with the replacement on me. They're definitely seeing themselves wearing something very similar, because the surgical route seems like the results are varied and unpredictable and not the greatest. Yeah, for me, with NSG, it was a very instant result versus months and months of healing. So with my clientele, so I did, a few of them knew about it. I've talked to them about doing this, and a lot of them I didn't, just because I wanted to see a natural reaction to see if they're paying attention to me or if they can notice. The ones that didn't know I had it, mind you, I'm seeing these clients every 6 weeks or so, a lot of them didn't know I had something done. They just thought I had been styling it a little bit differently, or I added some products and moves, something like that. And the clients that knew I had it were so intrigued. They wanted to like get in there and look through everything. They were super impressed with how natural it looked. I think anyone that's dealing with hair loss, the amount of money we will pay for hair is outstanding. And I've had clients pay for other things like hair replacement, like drops or shampoos and stuff like that. I mean, they're going through all kinds of things. And if I can offer them something that's going to give you instant results, you don't have to wonder if it's going to work or how long it's going to take to work, there's definitely a profit to be made there. I heard about NSG actually on Instagram, through Josh's Instagram. I had tried another hair replacement company and the results were pretty bad. The application wasn't done very well, and I feel like the quality of the hair wasn't very well, so I got online and started searching around for something, and NSG popped up, and I reached out and contacted Josh and was very happy with our first session. I've been wearing the NSG hair system for about a year now, I think. Definitely now that I'm wearing NSG, there's some things I do now that I didn't do before, like going outside without a hat. I am okay with going outside on a windy day. I actually took a boat ride with the wind whipping through my hair and felt completely comfortable with it. The quality of the NSG hair feels so much more realistic. Like I said, I've tried other replacement systems before and it just feels wrong. It just feels not like my natural texture, and this one mimics it very well. My partner, my husband, when he cause obviously he knew I was gonna get this done, and I think he was nervous for me because he's seen me struggle with it, the hats. He's seen me again go through the other system and how badly that went, and he was very happy that I was happy with the new system.
We back? We're back. All right, guys. So we are 3/4 of the way through this show. I can't believe this night is going like that. But before we jump back into completing our transformations, we have 3 more giveaways for you guys. So the first one is going to be this awesome Frame R bundle. So you're going to get this Black to the Future Frame R brush, this pack of Frame R color brushes, and this 2-pack of Frame R color bowls. This is going to Janelle_Beauties. So send an email to socialmedia@dreamcatchers.com. Name, address, phone number. We'll get this sent out to you. And Chris has 2 more giveaways for you guys. What do you got?
Yes, I have 2 more giveaways. Our first one up is going to be the Babyliss curling iron, and that is going to go to Vanessa Nava. So Vanessa, congratulations. The Babyliss curling iron is yours, Vanessa Nava. And our last giveaway for this segment is going to be the Babyliss flat iron, and that is going to Jillian Lee. Congratulations, Jillian Lee. You are the proud owner of a fantastic Babyliss flat iron.
Awesome, guys. Congratulations to you all for winning these amazing prizes. Again, make sure to send an email to socialmedia@dreamcatchers.com with your name, your address, and your phone number, so we can make sure that we have a way to contact you and we have a way to get this amazing gift to you. So let's jump over there. Let's see what Stacy and Amy are working on.
Congratulations.
I'll go. So I dropped all of Kylie's natural, and what I wanted to do was give her natural a little bit more of a connect to her extensions that we've already installed. So usually on an I-tip row, I would like everything side by side, directly shoulder to shoulder. But what I'm doing with her top row is I'm leaving some space in between so that it just breaks up her natural and will make it to where she has just a seamless blend without having to texture too much through the extensions. So I'm going to be putting a little bit of space in between her I-tips on her last row. And then another thing while you're here is we were talking about having your station prepped. So I love the Snaggle Twist brush because as I'm going through the install, I can use this to just keep everything nice and smooth as I'm installing and getting ready to cut and style. But also I use the drawing card for holding extensions. But if I'm on the other side and I need something quick, if I have my brush out, I can lay the I-tip and have it on my station next to me and then just grab it if it's out of my range. So I'm going to finish up her last row. This is just going to be connecting everything, and then I will start to cut her extensions, blend them, and style.
Great. And I'm going to go ahead and lay on Brenda's system so I can go ahead and start blow drying and styling. So and you know, this is a real, honestly, easy process to get down once you do it a few times. And it's a great way to keep your chair filled at the salon. You know, clients that come in for this, they're going to come in frequently to have it redone. Most people don't want to do this themselves, so it's a great opportunity for them to come in, make sure it's maintained properly.
So one thing that I want to touch on a little bit, I see someone mentioning custom systems. So now in stock, we are going to offer our systems in like 4 to 6 inch length range. It's not, you know, you choose 4 or 6. It's kind of like a blend of that. That doesn't mean that you have to have short hair. For example, Brenda has a bob. And if you guys have watched our other lives, you got to see Kelly, who has about a 20-inch system. So you can custom order different lengths as well as different base types. So you got to see Nick has a poly base. Brenda has a custom system, which has a combo. So it has poly around the perimeter and lace through the center and the front hairline, which is actually the same thing that I'm wearing. I love that the poly gives it more security with the application, with the tape around the perimeter. And the lace, I keep it, you know, I get a perimeter bond, so it's open and breathable in the center. So I kind of get like the best of both worlds with the system base. But it's really, really cool. And, you know, there's no other, at least not that I can think of, any other hair replacement brands out there that give you the option to custom order a system to really tailor to your client's needs. But we've really thought of everything. We wanted to make sure that you could give an option, that you had options and solutions for any client that sits in your chair. Also, before the last commercial break, I was starting to talk about the swatching. Now, anytime you are doing your consultation, this is going to be one of the most important tools to making sure you have a successful install. So you guys can see we have a range of colors going from bright blonde all the way to a 1B, but we didn't stop there. We also went in and we did a nice gray blend on every level. That way, if you have a client that has, you know, a level 5, but they have like a 50% gray, well, we've got you covered. So it's really cool that, you know, you can match to their exact color, but then you can also give them that gray blend, giving it a more realistic, more natural appearance. And I can't think of any other hair replacement brand that has this much of an array of options. What about you, Chris?
I definitely know that they don't have that many options. So like Josh was saying, I do love having gray blending in the hair systems. I have on a frontal hair system myself, and I believe I have like 5 or 10%, but it helps break everything up, you know. A lot of the clients will be coming to you and they've tried multiple things. A big one is usually, you know, hair fiber powders. And a lot of those guys that think, you know, having jet black powder on their head is going to make them look younger. Reality, a nice system with a little bit of gray blending. That's going to tie together their look probably a lot better, in my opinion.
You know, speaking of those like scalp powders, before I found out about NSG, I like when I was first like starting to experience my hair loss, I'm talking almost 10 years ago. I had tried all kinds of different topical solutions. I tried those different powders. And one of the most embarrassing things about those powders is like, if I had it on my scalp and I went somewhere and I got caught in the rain, then I'd have weird little scalp spots and people would think there was something wrong with them. And it's just humiliating. With NSG, I don't care if I get caught in the rain. It's just gonna look like my own natural hair, but wet. So it's just, in my opinion, the best option for anyone that is experiencing hair loss. It's risk-free, it's pain-free, it's nowhere near as expensive as some of the other options out there. And I mean, the only side effect is having amazing confidence. So, so I'm still working through Nick's haircut. Again, whenever I'm doing my haircut, I work slow and I'm doing a little bit at a time. I don't want to go too much and do too much of a cut, because if I cut too much, I can't put it back on. It's not going to grow. So start longer, start a little bit at a time, and slowly work at it. Like I said earlier, when I'm cutting a hair system, I'm looking at it more as if I'm sculpting that look. So Amy, Stacy, what do you guys got going on?
Well, I am styling her now. I went through and trimmed a little bit and texturized it and did some face framing to have it blend right around her face. I started minimal, and I told her, and I always tell my guests, like, I'm going to do minimal this time. After you shampoo it, fix it yourself, let me know if you want to add some more texture, take some more weight out. Because once you take it out, you can't put it back in.
Exactly.
So whenever I went through and did that, and then now I am styling her, and I was just admiring how seamless that is. Like, you can't even see, like, that root shade matched perfectly. I can't wait to get it all curled and brushed out and see all the...
Janice, can you get in like really close to that? Look at that color blend. Look at that dimension. Look how freaking seamless that is. I mean, come on. It's you can't tell me that she has extensions. That is her own natural hair. That looks so beautiful.
Thank you. And sometimes whenever I'm styling, if I haven't already, especially if it's a new install, while I'm curling it, now is whenever I go over all the maintenance, what to do, what not to do, how to take care of it, all that good stuff, so that they will know exactly what to do once they get home.
And, you know, it is so important to make sure that your client knows the proper like at-home maintenance and all of that. Stacy, what do you got going on over there?
So I am all done with Kylie's install, and as I was installing her rows, I did smooth her natural. So since her natural's all smooth, I'm going to go ahead and smooth her extensions as well, and then get ready to trim them, do a little face framing. We're going to keep as much length as we can on her, and mainly just face frame and barely just trim off a little at the bottom. So when I get done smoothing it all, I will be starting her cut.
Awesome. Chris, how's it going with Brenda?
Going great. We got her system on securely, went through and did our tests, and now we're able to just style it out, blow dry it. It's one of the great things about our systems. The hair styles actually very easily. And I believe you might have mentioned it earlier, Josh, about using product in the hair. For me, with the NSG, I like to add product as needed, whether that's styling product, you know, I'm going to keep it very water soluble. But the actual styling of the systems, they don't need a lot of product. So for like my hair or Nick's hair, for instance, he might put a little bit of wax in it and wear it for a day or so, and he might not need to actually add more. Or if he is adding just a little bit, it works pretty well. For Brenda's hair, I'm really just going to blow dry it, put a little bit of oil in it, keep it soft, keep it natural. Knowing that she's going about 4 weeks for every application, I don't want to put any product in her hair that's going to make her hair very oily or get too too moisturized too fast. So
Definitely. So, so I see someone says that hybrid installs are new to them. They've only seen that with lash extensions. So, Amy, do you want to touch a little bit on some of the benefits of a hybrid install?
Yeah, actually I do, because I wear it myself, and I know y'all probably think extensions are just for like long, full hair, but my hair is very naturally thin, so I do have 1 row, 3 wefts, but I also have 2 tape-ins up front to thicken my bangs. So the hybrid, it's just 2 different methods, and you can go in and add in like a tape-in or an I-tip like Stacey's doing in some of those areas that need just a little bit more. Let's see, sometimes on some of my guests, I do K-tips up here instead of the tape-in. If their hair is too thin, I don't want to put that full weight of a tape-in up there. So I'll do just like a row of K-tips on each side to help fill that in. But that's how I mainly use the hybrid methods, the hybrid installs.
Yeah, I personally love doing hybrid installs, especially like when I'm doing a weft install. Almost every time I'm adding in I-tips or K-tips to help blend in to their natural hair. So I'm finalizing Nick's haircut, finishing up the front here. Once I have this finished, I'm going to go in. I'm going to blow dry. I'm going to see how everything's laying, see if we need to go in and adjust anything. And again, it's all about that texture, that blend. Anytime I'm cutting, if I feel like I see any kind of weight line, I'm going to go back in and soften that. So Amy, how's it going over here?
Going good. I'm almost done curling it all, and then once that cools down, I'm going to brush it out. I'm going to go through and see if there's any places that might look too heavy that I need to texture a little bit, add in some layers, and I think we'll be good. How does it feel? Good. That's what I love about weft extensions, or any extensions, like you don't feel them at all in your head whenever they're properly installed. You just forget that they're there.
And I'm just going around and I'm taking texturizing shears and just blending out the perimeter of his system, making sure that nothing looks too heavy. He does like to be able to style his hair kind of up and away from his face a little bit, so I don't want to go too short in the front. But everything else I'm making sure it's nice and blended. And Stacy, how's it going over there? How's the styling?
Everything is going good. I am smoothing her top row and her naturals. And then I'm going to get her trimmed. Like I said, I'm not going to be taking much length. I'm going to mainly face frame and just shape up the bottom to keep her with as much length as possible. And I can't wait to see her reaction when she sees it. She hasn't been faced towards the mirror, so at the end, being able to show your client like their transformation is always so nice as the stylist giving them the transformation.
You know, that's one thing that I've always loved doing whenever I'm working on like a big transformation is I don't allow my client to look in the mirror. I kind of keep them turned away. That way when I'm finished and I turn them to the mirror and their hair's installed, it's styled, it's done. It's like the big reveal rather than slowly seeing it come to life. I like to kind of like build that excitement and anticipation for that, you know, final look. So again, I'm just going through and I'm creating some soft texture. little by little, I'll do a little bit of texture and then I'll comb it, see how everything's looking. So already I can see that that's blending so well into its natural hair.
So I've got her all done.
All right. So again, I'm just going through, checking the blend of anything. If I see anything that's too heavy, I'm just going to go in. Like right here, I can see this area is a bit heavy. So I'm just going to go in and slowly work at that. Little by little. Now, whenever you guys take any of our NSG classes, we're going to get more in-depth with haircutting. We're going to really explain why you want to do certain things, why you want to avoid certain things. And again, if you want to learn in depth every aspect of NSG and non-surgical hair replacement, make sure to give us a call at 855-373-2683. Before 8 p.m., you have 8 minutes. You have 8 minutes to save $375 on your hands-on NSG class. We have classes all over the country. If you go to nsghair.com, go to education, you will see all of the classes listed. You can learn from a couple of us here. We will be teaching some of those NSG classes. We definitely look forward to seeing any of you guys there.
Also, if they don't see a class near them, they can request a class.
They sure can. All right. So, Stacy, are you finished with that blow dryer over there?
I am.
I'm going to steal that from you. Thank you. No, you can leave it plugged in.
Oh.
All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and blow dry Nick's hair, see how everything's looking. And the NSG systems can be styled just like your natural hair. You can blow dry them, you can curl them. You just want to make sure that you're not using too high of heat, as with, even your natural hair. One thing I always say, and this always makes people laugh, is you're curling your hair or you're flat ironing your hair, you're not baking a cake. So I never use any heat above like 325, 350 is kind of the max that I go. Yeah, but you can heat style, you can blow dry it, you can curl it, you can flat iron it. Make sure that you're using a thermoprotectant product. Yeah, so I'm going to continue blow drying Nick's hair.
No peeking.
How's it going over there, Chris?
Going good. Just going through, running a low temp flat iron through her ends to smooth everything out. And we'll put a little bit of oil on it, get everything finished for Brenda. And this should be the last time that she has to pull it off and take her unit off, clean it, restyle it for the next month.
So a little cutting tip I have. Make sure that the natural's not in. I just want to give that extension some texture. I try to grab a little bit and shake the natural out so that way I can kind of see where the weight's coming from. Oh, so I can see where the weight's coming from. Okay, so I've shaken out some of the natural, and I just want to face frame and get a little bit of the weight out around her face. I'm just using my shears. Getting all that natural out, and then just adding some texture into her extension. I'm loving her blend, and I'm so excited for her to be able to see it.
Okay, so I'm finishing up with styling Nick's hair. Now, as I'm styling his hair, I'm not pulling too much on the front, okay? We don't want to pull and lift that system up. Also, when I was styling and blow drying, I didn't take the brush along his forehead and go up. I placed the tip of the brush at on the edge of his system and then went back. That way I'm not causing any lifting on that front edge.
Hey, Kylie, I'm pretty sure we've started something.
Thanks, Chris. All right, so one last thing that I'm going to do with Nick is I'm going to eliminate, well, get those hairs off his face. I'm going to eliminate that little bit of a white line from when we marked his forehead. You guys can see that I'm just taking my towel and just gently wiping, and it comes right off. All right.
Mm-mm.
See, Dorothy says, everyone looks amazing. I would have to agree with you. I think that
The transformations
Lexi
are
looks
giving.
incredible. Kylie looks incredible. Brenda, Nick, they all look amazing. I think we're about to go for our last commercial. Don't go anywhere because after this, we're doing our grand prize, guys, okay? We're giving away DC 4-in-1 kit and an NSG kit with tuition to any of our classes. You don't want to miss out on that. So we'll see you in just a couple minutes for those grand prize giveaways and final looks.
I've been walking through the valley of the shadows. I let them tell me who I was. I've been talking myself up onto the gallows. Every time I tried to walk away, I couldn't make it through another day. Everything seems being up in uphill battle. I was trying to make it on my own, my way. You were knocking on the door that I've been looking for. It was right in front of me. I was lost, but now I'm free. And I was blind, but now I see that your love is better than life. Your love is better than life. But I ain't turning back now. It's never so amazed how your love is better than.
My experience during this 2-day training was absolutely wonderful. I had, some anxiety going in, but I had some really great aha moments, and ultimately I feel a lot more confident now. I do feel like this is a service that will benefit my business behind the chair, absolutely. I 100% recommend this training to other stylists.
3, 2, 1. And we're back. So first off, I hope you guys have really enjoyed this live. These amazing models that are behind the camera right now, look absolutely incredible. But first off, before we show you guys the final results, we are going to give away a couple prizes. So, Stacy, what do you have?
So I have a DC kit and tuition, and that is going to be going to Laisha Gonzalez.
Now, this is the DreamCatchers 4-in-1 kit, so this is going to give you everything you need for a perfect install for all 4 systems: I-tip, tape, K-tip, and weft. This is, first off, it's an incredibly looking kit, and it has everything that you need.
Congratulations.
Then we have the final pair of shark fin monarch shears. These are going to, I apologize if I mispronounce this, Janiri Nunez. So Janiri Nunez, send an email to socialmedia@dreamcatchers.com with your name, address, and phone number, and we will get these bad boys sent out to you.
Congratulations.
Then, last but absolutely not least, is this amazing NSG kit. Now, Janice, I want you to come on over and get one more really good close-up of this. So you have everything that you're going to need for your journey through the NSG class and your installs. And again, you have all of your adhesives, your liquids, your training system, all of the accessories, the amazing limited effects Babyliss Pro trimmers that we've been using tonight, and more. This is so full of incredible, amazing, high quality tools and products. So this is going to Alyssa McNeely. So Alyssa McNeely, you just got yourself an NSG kit and tuition. So for you and everyone that has won one of these amazing gifts tonight, send an email to socialmedia@dreamcatchers, don't forget the S at the end, .com. Send your name, your phone number, and your address. We will get these sent out to you guys shortly. So let's hop over here and see all of our finished models, right?
Let's go.
Go ahead. So,
I like it. I like it a
Haley, why
lot.
don't you show off Lexi first?
Okay, well, this is the front view of the gorgeous 24 inches. And then in the back, you can really see and appreciate all that dimension I've been talking about the last 2 hours in here. Love it, because there's just 3 different shades of blonde in here, but it just makes it look softer, more natural. And then whenever she wants to wear her hair up, they are undetectable because they blend so well, like no one would ever be able to see them.
And then over here with Nick, we have his finished, installed, and cut styled NSG system. And I'm going to give him a 360 so you guys can see that blend. Also, he's now getting to see his new hair. And look how seamless that blend is with his natural hair. And Janice, I want you to get nice and close again. I want to show this scalp and this hairline. Go ahead and look down, Nick. Just look how natural that is. And then when you look at the scalp, again, it literally looks like the hair is growing from his scalp. That does not look like a hair system at all. So yeah, that was a poly system. We started by transferring his mold to the system, cut that system out, installed it, and gave him a really good haircut, styled him, and he is good to go. So Chris?
So this is my reapplication on Brenda. This is a combo or a hybrid NSG custom unit. So we have a horseshoe shape of poly around the perimeter. And right on the front hairline, we have our lace. And kind of same thing, Brenda, if you could put your chin down, and then Janice, if you can just look right along her part, it looks like it's growing straight from the head. And, you know, her unit as well, if you can see, we have a little bit of that natural gray in there. That is going to be, honestly, a great thing to add in to make it look more natural. And, yeah, this is going to have her set for the next 4 weeks until her next reapplication.
All right, lastly, we have Kylie. And so she had the hybrid install using DC half-point I-tips and wefts. We started at the nape and did her I-tips, and then went into 2 wefts for the middle row, and then some I-tips right at the top to blend everything in. So I think it's beautiful, and she's going to be excited when she sees it.
Awesome. Well, let's get everyone up here. And I just wanted to say thank you guys to every one of you that have taken the time out of your evening to join us. We hope you've taken a lot of amazing education and information from this live. And thank you guys for coming out here and joining us. Thank you to our amazing models, to our film crew, to our social media. Thank you to the girls in the call center that stayed late to take all of your guys' calls tonight. And also thanks to the guy behind the camera over there, Chris, the one who started all of this. We hope that you guys had a great night, and we can't wait to see you next time. Our next live is going to be November 13th. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night.
Bye.
Bye.